Hi, class. We've reached the final chapter in this particular course, which is our Introduction to Business. This is chapter 15. Chapter 15, we're going to get into actually understanding money and financial institutions. The financial institution that you utilize on a regular basis, are they the best for you? Let's find out. We'll get into identifying commonly used financial services. We'll also compare the types of financial institutions, assess various types of savings plans, and also evaluate different types of payment processes and or methods. Checking and saving accounts, we'll get into that. We have a project that is basically part of the course which gets into checking and savings accounts. Planning your financial services. When you're planning your financial services, in most recent years, banking activities have changed. I am still the kind of person who wants to go into the actual bank, say hi to the, let's say, teller, and get to know them. So if I have any banking transaction that goes sideways or something's wrong, they can say, "Hi, Mr. Alston, how can we help you?" Have you tried doing that online when you've never ever met anyone from your banking institution? Think about that. So from talking with a human teller to connecting with a video teller at a bank cafe, this is how the methods have changed over the years. Also, from writing a check, I don't know when's the last time I wrote a check, to transferring money with an app. Now, I know a lot about transferring money. I take money out of my savings account, put it in the checking account. I manage my son's accounts. When I bought a house recently, I had to put everything in an escrow, so I had to get a wire down. It was, wow, all electronic, all online. Also, from sending in a deposit by mailing. Oh, I'm sorry, I still don't do what this next thing says, is when you take a picture of your check and you deposit it that way. I'm not used to that. If I have a check from a company, or say from my own company, I'm going to go into the bank and say, "Hi, this is a $5,000 check," and you put it in my savings account. I still don't feel comfortable taking a picture of the actual check. I don't know. Uh, to click a picture for a remote check deposit, no, that's not what I say. From obtaining a loan from a bank to borrowing from a peer-to-peer lender. That's how much things have changed. Financial institutions and banking services, these are some of the actual institutions that you utilize to hopefully either sustain what you already have financially, or build from what you already have, or invest. So, deposit institutions. The definition of deposit institution is a commercial bank, credit union. I'm with California Coast Credit Union, been with them since 2005. I get great benefits and so forth. You have a saving and loans association. There's not that many out there anymore. Then you have mutual savings bank, mutual funds as well. If you want to get into the non-deposit institutions, which means you don't put money in them at all, it's your life insurance companies, meaning you don't put money in there and watch it grow and go in and take money out. There are some plans you can do that, but not this particular situation. Investment company, brokerage firms, credit card companies, finance companies, and mortgage companies. Those are non-deposit institutions. Other financial services providers are pawn shops, scary. Check cashing outlets, more scary. Payday loan companies, more scary. Car title loan companies. Each one of those in this particular area, you need to stay away from. There's not one reason that you should go in there and go to a pawn shop. So you have an item that you really have valued, but your money's low, and you said, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and pawn, let's say this particular, let's say your VCR. Yeah, that's way back when. I think you guys know what a VCR is. So now it's called a Blu-ray machine, I think. So anyway, say for example you do that, and then once you go ahead and sell it, you get maybe the 80 bucks for it, but it costs you 280 bucks. And then as your money grows and you feel better, you go back and buy the actual, let's say, VHS for twice the price. Check cashing place outlet, not a good idea because they take a certain percentage of your check. Now, if you can afford to do that and you don't want to deal with an actual financial institution like California Coast or Wells Fargo, what have you, then check cashing places are fine. That's mostly for people who don't have a checking or savings account, who don't actually have a bank account. Payday loan companies, those folks are called predatory lenders. Those are the folks that actually say, you know what, we got you. You know what, you need your money today, but it doesn't happen until next week. We'll go and give you some of that money now. How much do you think they're going to ask you for? Rent to own centers? Don't do it. Another scam. When I was 17 years old, actually 16, I had my first apartment. And I'm Mr. Don't know anything about finance. And I know I couldn't afford to buy like a $800 living room set. And they said, hey, just come to our rent to own center and we'll just go ahead and, with no money down and no credit check, we'll put that furniture in your house today for only $300 a week. Wait, how much? I didn't read the small print. I was paying 5 times the price to rent furniture which I'll never own. Word to the wise, do not ever rent furniture. Car title loan company. I got desperate years ago. My money was so tight that I said, look, I own my car. I need some money to get by. I was newly divorced. When I did a car title loan, the interest rate would have killed the average person. I couldn't believe the amount of money I was going to be paying back on a $5,000 loan. They got about $7,000 back from me. So, non-bank financial service providers are retail stores, online, mobile bank, e-trade, borrow money, money payment services, which is PayPal. They're huge now. When they first came online, PayPal was just a unique entity. Now, you hear nothing but PayPal, PayPal, and PayPal. And P2P was a peer-to-peer lending intermediaries. Those are those companies that really are effective, but you have to watch what they're asking you for. So, so types of financial services you can receive from each, let's say, organization. So here's cash availability. If you want cash availability, you can get, you can check cash, ATM card, traveler's checks, foreign currency exchange, and so forth. Under saving services, regular savings account, money market accounts, certificates of deposit, U.S. saving bond. These are in the service areas for savings. Investment services, this is huge. You got IRAs, which is individual retirement accounts, brokerage services, investment advice, and mutual funds. Going up to the payment services, you can get into check cashing, online payments, cashier's check, and money orders, and so forth. So you can review this and realize, where do you stand? What kind of banking are you doing? And how can you get away from some of it? Again, please stay out of this area. That's not the way you want to go. You will be in debt. So frequent mistakes when making current cash needs into the following. So frequent mistakes when managing current cash needs into the following. Overspending due to impulse buying and overusing credit. Impulse buying. I used to do a lot of that. I go into a store, I was like, I know I don't need it. I'm gonna get this. I need those slacks. Oh, look at that shirt. I have, let's say, a wardrobe in my closet that is just staggering. It's way too, I had to push, the racks open. I gotta pry them open just to see what shirts are in there, what pants are in there. That tells me I don't need to buy anymore. So get that mentality. This is about money management. Get that mentality. You don't need to buy something else just because either it's on sale or you're in the store. And then overuse of credit cards. When you reach for your credit card before your debit card, there's a problem. If you know you've got the availability to spend on your debit card, that should be the first thing you reach for every single time. Because your debit card is the money directly out of your checking account or savings account. And if you get, let's say, a lower balance in your debit account, that's fine because that's your money spent. There's no interest involved. But when you use that credit card, there's a problem. Having insufficient liquid assets to pay current bills, which means you don't have enough coming in to pay your bills that need to be going out. Using savings or borrowing to pay for current expenses. I've cut back so much, and I wish I would have done this when I was younger. I finally realized that there's certain things I just don't need. I don't need HBO. I don't need Cinemax. I don't need Showtime. I don't need to burn my air conditioning 24/7. Like right now at my home, that air conditioning is off. Things are unplugged. I'm saving so much on electricity. But when you're younger, you don't think of all that. You're just having a good time. You're trying to stay comfortable. So think of how you manage your money. Another area is you are failing, I should say, to place funds not needed for current expenses in a savings account or investment plan. I always try to keep at least $10,000 or $15,000 sitting in, let's say an emergency fund account. So if something comes up, I can respond to that particular emergency. Source of quick cash. Two main choices when you need more cash than you have available. Liquidity. Liquidity means you actually can liquidate savings, example, savings accounts, mutual funds, or other investments, You can borrow, which is not a really great idea, but from your credit card, you can get a credit card cash advance or a personal loan. There's people that will actually struggle and struggle and struggle because they haven't thought of a way out of their situation. And I said, sometimes you do have to give in and get that cash advance in order to get, let's say, the apartment that you want, or to get a room for rent, or to do something that is going to make you sustained. Remember, the use of savings and increased borrowing reduces your net worth and your potential long-term financial security. So the more you borrow, the more you get in debt, the less you're likely to be able to pull yourself out of debt because you're constantly going to be owing someone else. So owe yourself, pay yourself. Realize there's times that you don't need, let's say, that new car or that new TV. And when the Super Bowl comes around, go to a local bar or somewhere who has an 8,000 foot inch TV instead of you buying one of those fancy TVs so that all your friends and neighbors can come and enjoy the Super Bowl. Then they go home and guess who gets to pay for that particular item? You. Remember, the use of savings also will increase your borrowing, reducing your net worth. Always remember this part. And your potentially long-term financial security. Long-term financial security. Types of financial services, savings, we know that, provide safe storage of funds for future use. Example, money in savings accounts and certified deposits. We covered some of this earlier. Types of financial, it continue, we talked about this. An assessment management account, which is example, cash management account provides a complete financial services program for a single fee. Online and mobile banking. This is an area that I still am a little bit on the fence about. Online banking through mobile systems are used for most financial services. More traditional electronic banking occurs through an automatic teller, which is the ATM, which is a computer terminal. We know what that is. Debit card, we know what that is. But what happens now is online is taking on a whole new image. And that's something you have to either be careful or be comfortable with. I do this now, but before I wouldn't do this. I'd go into the bank and do transfers. I do deposits. So I am to the point now I'm comfortable doing transfers of money, but I always feel like I can't see it. It's really there. But this is AI. We're in AI era now. AI is the era that we're living in, and if we don't keep up with technology, we will be left behind. So prepaid debit cards, that's a really, really popular thing that people are doing. It's become very, very popular for payments. It replaces traditional banking services for many consumers. Because of the fact that you don't maybe have a regular bank account, you can also be comfortable with using some prepaid debit cards for your children as well. So issued by many financial service providers, which is banks, credit card companies, retailers, Walmart, etc. Loading, adding funds to it, prepaid. This is kind of an idea of you using your own money. You're not actually using a credit card, which is better. Um, Extensive fees are often associated with these cards, though, and result in lower consumer debt in some cases. So it kind of works to a certain degree. Financial services and economic conditions. Wow. So severe factors influence, or I said severe. Several factors influence financial services, such as the changing interest rates, rising consumer prices, and other economic factors. Selecting a financial institution. Step one, identify your most important features for a financial institution. Like, what do you want? You want services? Do you want fees and earnings? Do you want convenience? Or you want the ability to do online banking? So that's step one when you're choosing your financial institution. Step two is rank the top features based on importance and your life situation. College student, family, young family, older consumer. There are certain things at this age I don't need that I would have normally used when I was a college student. So, step three, prepare a list of local, national, and online banks and credit unions. Include the names, address, and so forth, and actually just do some research on them. I would not use Chime. I would not use those online banking services because I've had several students who got into a situation and they couldn't get hold of customer service people, and the customer service people they did get a hold of were actually scam artists. This young lady, she had maybe $1,800 stolen out of her bank account, okay, which is Chime. Chime actually advertises that you can get your money 3 or 4 days earlier than everyone else. Well, that's fine, but it's not secure. People can tap into that, and that has happened over and over again. Step four, conduct an online and in-person research. Find out what they offer. When I go into California Coast Credit Union, they tell them knows me so well because it's been like 20 years or so, more than that. And she says, Kel, you're not using some of your rewards. I said, well, what rewards do I have? So because of the amount that I have in the bank, it builds up rewards. So for example, what if I bounce a check? It's covered. Overdraft fees, it's covered. Um, Standard maintenance fee of the account, it's covered. I didn't know that. She goes, yeah, you have to actually cash in your points. And then for now on, when anything happens to your account, it's covered. Like, wow. So that's why I go into the actual bank and get their information. And step number five, based on the information collected, now you decide where you want to do your business. You want to decide how you can take advantage of some of the options. Like, I didn't know I had points. And then you do a little research. So you're still selecting a financial institution. So you want to identify that the financial institution is a large scale or regional credit union. I believe in credit unions because of the fact that they are not for profit and they are basically owned by the members. All right. Or you can do online banking, which I again just spoke against. So look at the benefits and some of the drawbacks. So in a large scale bank, here's the benefits, many branches, and also sometimes there's fee-free ATMs, late digital banking services. You can get there late at night, 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock sometimes. The drawbacks is there's limited personal services, of course, and high fees, much higher fees, and potential security concerns because they're so big. So you can read through the rest of those, and that kind of give you an idea of which you want to choose. A credit, credit union, uh, bank, which has a lot of fees. We've had a lot of bad experiences with banks with me and my ex-wife, and we were trying to do um, our loan. We wanted to do a loan modification. It took us almost a year and a half with a whole bunch of delays, a whole bunch of fees, a whole bunch of confusion. And all we wanted to do was change the interest rate that we were using to modify the existing mortgage. And it was so convoluted with the bureaucracy involved in the banks was just ridiculous. All right, so what I like to do now is just wrap up this. This was the mini lecture, just like we've done throughout the entire semester. This mini lecture covered money management. It talked about the financial institution you should start thinking about utilizing, and watch your money. Watch your money closely. With that said, guys, that is the conclusion of all the chapters. Chapter 15 is your final chapter, and you'll find all the PowerPoints on the canvas in the modules.